1 ton.
1 ton.
If I ever go up, it'll be all right. Okay. Stan went to a trip to China in 2009, led to him studying Chinese. Well, and I believe you've got a Confucius Institute at NCSU. So you weren't kidding me. I didn't know whether you were. And you're learning about cuisine and culture, Chinese cuisine and culture. And you're also going to talk to us tonight about how Western exposure to the Chinese was through the Silk Road. So please welcome Stan.
What would it take for you to travel 5,000 miles for? What kind of an object would you travel that far to reach? Well, the Silk Road was one of the greatest road networks that have probably ever existed in history. And it extends 5,000 miles approximately from at the time, Xi'an, China to Rome, Italy. And it's not an exaggeration to say that it probably changed the lives of everyone that was involved in the Silk Road. The history of the Silk Road, and one side is the Far East and one side is the Near East. So the history of the Silk Road begins more or less in 3000 BC when, according to legend, Si Ling Chi dropped a silk cocoon into hot tea, and the cocoons are the size of your thumb. So when they're in hot water, the silk unravels. And so that led to the discovery that you could make silk thread, and from silk thread, the discovery of fabric. Around the same time, in 3000 BC, the horse and the camel were domesticated, 2 animals that ended up being essential for transportation along the Silk Road. 1500 BC, iron is perfected, the process is perfected in Asia Minor, and China further perfects the process of metallurgy in about 1500. Alexander the Great, 400 BC, it's the first effort where you have Western civilization and Eastern civilization merging to extent, because he made it all the way to India. And 200 BC, another essential ingredient on the Silk Road was paper was invented in China. The process was perfected. And also at this point in time, you have the Qin and the Han dynasties, which unite the area that is now known as China. And the capital is Xi'an. Xi'an is on the map, but it goes under a different name on the map. And it is Chang'an. Xi is west. So you'll see that it's more or less at the start of the road here. And the Great Wall is built, it's also on the map, and the Great Wall was essential because it protected the traders from invaders from the north. So it made the route safe. It enabled safe passage for the traders along that part of the route. 138 BC was the first documented effort of someone navigating a large part of the route when Zheng Qian, who's sort of known as the father of the Silk Road, went all the way to India, past India, was captured twice. He's kind of the Lewis and Clark of China, as it were. You know, he went from a known point to an unknown point, explored along the way, came back, and gave a report to the emperor on his return, which made the government aware that this was a possible thing to do. And in 0 AD, you have Rome, and at this point in time, you're starting to see products moving along the Silk Road. Now, people wouldn't go from one end to the other. People would travel the route that they were comfortable with. So, for instance, traders in Xi'an might go as far as the next stop, which would be sort of like the Pony Express worked in the U.S. And from that point, the goods would be moved to another set of wagons, camels, horses, to the next stop. So it was a matter of stages. So you wouldn't see Roman traders in Xi'an or Xi'an traders in Rome necessarily. That would be a rare occurrence. From Europe, you would tend to see gold, silver, mostly valuable metals that would be going back to China. From China going west, of course you had silk, but there was another very important commodity that went east to west, which was gunpowder. This gunpowder, of course, was unknown in the West at the time, along with iron, which we mentioned previously, and porcelain, jade. So you had a double flowing of not only products, but ideas. Religion, culture, thought, ways of life would also be moving along with the goods. The Roman Empire and the Han Dynasty collapsed around 300 AD. So the Silk Road kind of ebbed and flowed depending on politics and other situations that kind of changed whether it was safe to travel or not. But in 600 AD, the Tang Dynasty, which is considered a high point in the Chinese civilization, was in power, and that was it's thought of as the height of the Silk Road. That's when you had the most goods being transported along that route. But, as all political systems do, in 800 AD, 900 AD, the Tang Dynasty collapsed, the Song Dynasty came into power, and they were not as outward looking. So the amount of travel on the road tended to diminish. And at this point in time, the Silk Road becomes less and less important. Genghis Khan comes into power around 1200 AD. That's the Yuan dynasty, and there's still travel on the Silk Road. That's when Marco Polo arrives in China. So, but it's not to the extent that it was in the Tang dynasty. So that's a good point to learn about the Silk Road. Is to start with Marco Polo, which, at least from a Western perspective, people are familiar with, kind of work backwards. When Marco Polo arrived, of course, it was not Genghis Khan, it was Kublai Khan, which was his grandson. But the things that led to the demise of the Silk Road were, one was the politics on both sides. On the east, there was not the interest in trade that there was. In the west, you had bubonic plague, which was consuming Europe at the time, so trade was not the utmost of people's mind. And also, shipping was becoming more important. And one of the pioneers, I don't know if people remember the opening of the Olympics, where they showed the ship going around the bird's nest on the visual screen. That's Zhong He was a very early Chinese explorer. He made it all the way from China all the way to the coast of Africa and to Arabia, that part of the world. And so that led, and the shipping and the ability of ships to reach that far was good enough that became the easier route to transport goods rather than taking the land route. So the story of the Silk Road combines history, geography, also religion, art, adventure. I mean, it combines a lot of elements of a very good story. And the fact that President Obama is in Asia now shows that east-west communication is still an important thing even today. So what would you travel 5,000 miles for? Well, for 2,000 years, people traveled 5,000 miles for silk. So I'm going to pass around this silk tie. Mr. Toastmaster?